What is up, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I'm going to be interviewing one of the students in my coaching program who recently launched his first product on Amazon. We're going to be covering all of the questions that you guys wanted answered from my FBA Facebook community and from my Discord group. Questions like what he would change, what happened when he launched his product, his strategy. We're going to cover all of that in this video. But just remember, everyone will have a different experience with Amazon FBA. It just depends how much work and time you put into your business and how much you learn before you jump into the business. But before we get into this video, if you could just like the video, comment down below if you have any questions after watching the video, just drop them right down below in the comment section. And just by leaving a comment and liking the video, I do a giveaway at the end of every month where I give away my Amazon course or $100 prize. I pick a random winner from the comment section. So we're going to get into the interview right now. I just wanted to put this out there. I did have some audio and video issues on my end. So when you see me talking, it's a little low on the volume, but I didn't want to record the whole interview. It's about 20 to 30 minutes long, so I just left it as it is, and I tried to make it the best that I could, so forgive me on that. But let's get into the interview right now and break down how everything went for a first-time Amazon seller. Let's go. All right, everyone, this is Najee. He is in my mentorship program. He came to me around August, I think.
It was around August, yeah.
And then he finally launched his first product in, was it December?
Going live was December 4th, actually.
Yeah, so he recently launched, so he's going to share his whole experience and how everything went with you guys. He did really well on his first launch, so don't expect the same results, but he's going to explain everything that he did and everything that happened in his first month. All right, Najee, I'll let you go from here.
Thanks for having me here. I come from the tech background. I've been in tech for 15 years almost, and especially in the marketing space. I even created my own online academy. I've consulted big companies. My academy was one of the biggest, and I was able to spot quickly early on as I was getting into the Amazon world, those self-called gurus from the real genuine ones. And I remember what caught my attention was a video ad that Pat had on Instagram. And I'm not a big Instagram user. What caught my attention was how genuine he was. That was around August. The whole thing around Amazon and selling online, everything started off around end of June, actually. So I was still fairly new. We started with online arbitrage and then we moved to tactical arbitrage. So I was following all these guys. We bought a subscription to several tools and then realized we needed to do something that scales. The online arbitrage and technical arbitrage doesn't scale. My wife was leading this whole thing. I assisted her and we eventually decided to go all in on Amazon, what we thought was private label in the beginning. So I came across Pat and I thought he's not just genuine, he seems to know what he's talking about. So I texted Pat just to validate he's a real person. He instantly replied. And from there, I realized the fastest way for me to become successful at this is to hire an expert, hire a consultant. As a consultant for marketing, that's what I used to do. So in this case, I was a student, if you want to call it this way. So since then, I've been, working with Pat and he's been assisting me. And truly, he's one of the reasons why this whole product succeeded.
He put in a ton of work. I mean, he didn't just go with a random product. He's building a brand. He went with like a premium product. I'm not going to say the product because
somewhere online, if you track me and follow me or follow Pat, you're going to figure it out.
But he didn't go with like a cheap product that was really easy. He just went on Alibaba, clicked on it and said, I want this one. He actually did a lot of customization. He did way more than me on my first product launch.
I went the opposite way, actually. I don't recommend what I did to anyone. I wouldn't recommend it to myself. We chose not even a private label. We built the whole product from scratch when we had no idea how to do it. And the product had almost 18, 19, maybe 20 moving parts in it. Mm-hmm. So it was very complicated. And we were doing it around the end of Q3, like end of summer, beginning of Q4. The worst time to build any new product. We had no idea. So there was a lot of stress, a lot of working overnight, days and days I would spend until 3, 4 a.m. Yeah. Weeks long. So it was very stressful. Turns out it was a good strategy. If it wasn't for the holidays, which was a deadline for us, it would have been much easier. So we did not just buy a product and then put a private label on it and then or change a color. We built something from scratch.
Yeah. And you could go the other route and go really easy, a lot cheaper and get it done quicker. But you have to remember, are you in it for the long term? Are you trying to build a big brand where you could branch out or just sell random products and see how well they do and then build off of those? So
exactly. So the way we started, we thought, why are we in this business? Where are we going in this business? I quit all my tech companies. I quit everything my wife, she was on furlough, so we decided to go all in on this and think long term. So we thought if we buy a product and just put a private label on it and test it, by the time we launch, we already, invested or lost 6 months. We didn't want to do this. We wanted to go all in and then think on the long term, because ultimately we want to build on all the successes. So I applied to the T everything Pat had in the course, and I didn't abuse his consulting hours. What I did was we went on Helium 10. We did the research, again, applying exactly what Pat was showing in the videos, is still showing in the videos. And we found this opportunity. And I remember telling you, Pat, I don't know if you remember, there seems to be something in this keyword or in this space. What do you think? I did my analysis, and then you told me, let me do your analysis, which was part of the consulting package I bought. Yep. Which I highly recommend to anyone who's taking this seriously. And then after the hour, you literally told me, if you find ways to differentiate, then there could be a good opportunity in this. And truly, this was, if there's one thing you want to take out of everything when it comes to selling online and on Amazon, it's differentiation. Yep. The more you can differentiate, the more you can increase your chances of success.
Yep, that's what I tell everybody. If you're going to sell the same exact thing, like if you just sold what all the other people were selling, you probably wouldn't have had the success that you did with your product, because you had so many different features that you added, and you went the premium route. You priced it a little higher, but people are paying for that because you have more features.
Yeah, our price was actually twice the average price of all the products in the same category. And that was intentional. I wanted to go premium because we had a premium product. And I can go into details on how we came up with a feature set and differentiation in it if you want. Basically, I didn't want to compete on price because that's going to be a recipe for failure for us. We're going to lose the money. And I can't compete on reviews because we're a new product. So there has to be something better. So thinking like that, I thought, what if everything is better? What if everything is different? So that there's no room for competition or even comparison. That's what we did.
And it worked out. All right. So I do have a lot of, not a lot, but like 8 to 10 questions here that the group members asked. The first one is, I'd love to know if they just did one product or multiple. Discuss that you did one product.
We barely had time to do one product. But again, on this point though, Pat, we built this product thinking there could be different ways we can create variation and extension to this product from the outset, right? So think if this becomes successful, could we add more products or different variations to it? That was the thinking from the beginning.
Yeah, and that's good to think about because you want to build off of your first product if you can. All right, and then what gave you the confidence to actually launch that product?
There's two things. Data. So the data was giving us some sense of confidence that there could be something out of it. The second thing, which is the more important one, is truly, Pat, you. If it wasn't for your confidence in the video that we had, that, yeah, there seems to be something, a good opportunity, and there's something that you could build on. Only if you can differentiate, I wouldn't have had the courage. In fact, we were looking at other products, and then I was waiting for this call, and we had the call, and then I left all the other products and went back to this one. So it was really you, as an experienced seller, as an expert in my mind, who gave me the confidence that, yeah, you can do it. Just measure your risks in it.
Yeah, there's always a risk, like it might not do well, but when you look at all the numbers and from all the products that I've seen and launched on my own, you could kind of get a pretty good idea of how well the product will do based on the things that I usually look at.
Right.
All right. So, we never went over this. I don't know if you want to cover it, but how well did the product do, like in numbers? Because you're selling on 3 different platforms, right?
Right. So we, because of all the delays, we had to start off on Shopify. So technically December 4th was Amazon. A week prior was Shopify. So we were on Shopify. And then I remember you talking about Etsy.
Yeah.
I kept procrastinating Etsy. I didn't know what Etsy could do for us until we just decided, you know what, why not do Etsy? And turns out between Amazon, Etsy, and Shopify, within 3 to 4 weeks, almost less than 4 weeks, we sold out in excess of $40,000, basically, in revenue, right?
Yeah, remember, he's selling a high-priced item. So what's your average price point, just so they know?
$100.
Around $100. So that's people with a small budget, you probably would not be able to launch his product because it costs more. What's your total landed cost if you have that on hand?
It was, I mean, I'm gonna give a range. I can't give exact numbers. It's around, I mean, the total cost, everything included, is around like 45-ish.
Okay. Yeah. So if you only had like $500, you couldn't launch that product. You could only order like 2.
I mean, you can always find ways to negotiate with suppliers. We didn't have the luxury of time to negotiate given the holidays, basically. Looking backwards, if I had the luxury of time, I would have negotiated much harder with them on everything.
Yeah.
At the same time, I knew that we could increase the margin given the differentiation we had in the product. And we thought, worst comes to worst, the value is in the asset. We can always sell it at cost and not lose money.
All right. Yeah, you launched at like a really busy time with the whole right before Christmas and COVID.
I have tons of stories of how this could have gone completely the wrong way. It's very hard to negotiate with China, and it's much harder when you're negotiating under crunch times and deadlines. If I didn't push every single night, every single day, we would have missed the window of the holidays, and everything would have been different. So it did help us, although everything was more expensive during the holidays.
One thing you would have done differently if you could?
I would have started with a simpler product. In the spirit of differentiation, here's what we did. If you have time, I can go into details, basically.
Yeah.
We went in the same category we're in, identified all the players, all the competitors by rank, from 1 to number 15. Personally, I read hundreds, if not thousands of reviews, the negative ones and the positive ones. I went through the product details and differentiation of each one of them, created this big matrix, and started thinking what's missing in this one, what's missing in this one, what's the good thing about this one, put them all in one list, and decided to build our product using that list. So everything that was missing in the others, everything was good in the others, we put it in our product. Now, some of the things maybe helped or did not help. We don't know. There's a law of diminishing returns at some point. What I would do differently, I wouldn't necessarily go all in with all the different features and differentiation. That created a lot of complexity when it came to producing the product. I would have probably also plotted the timeline earlier, because by the time we decided to say, this is it, this is the product, we had lost maybe 2-3 weeks of time frame. These 2-3 weeks would have saved us a lot of stress and probably would have got the product earlier on, which meant we could have sold at less cost because of the advertising cost and all this. But we kept iterating on the product, changing, thinking we need to keep differentiating more and more and more. And in conclusion, I would probably have chosen a simpler version of it in the beginning.
But at least it paid off. Hard work pays off.
I mean, but look, I have white hair now.
How many keywords is good to start for PPC, or how many keywords were you targeting during your launch?
3 to 5, actually. Again, I'm not an expert. I'm not a guru. I'm never going to claim I'm a guru and an expert in this space. Literally what I did is go on Pat's course and Helium 10 course, and Pat specifically because I had a relationship with Pat. And I figured if Pat can do it, and I'm not talking about a seller who has 20 years of experience. He was fairly new. I mean, you're still fairly new, basically.
Yeah.
If Pat could do it, and he's telling us exactly how he's doing it, and his incentive is to teach us, let me apply at least what he's telling us. Because the alternative is, I don't know what else to do. So I took exactly what Pat had in the course and what he's been preaching, I applied it. Watched the videos and I applied exactly what he was preaching. That's all I did.
That's one thing I always say is you only want to have like a small list, especially when you're starting, because if you have 40 different keywords, then you're going to have these huge charts that you have to analyze to see which ones work. And then you're not even going to have enough budget to cover all of those. So they're not even going to run. So there's a lot of things that could go wrong if you're targeting like 40, 50 keywords.
Everything takes time. Every extra keyword takes more time to plan and analyze and optimize. We didn't have that. We didn't have the opportunity or the luxury to do all of this.
I mean, you could always do more keywords down the road if you want to try like an experiment.
Right.
What was your ACoS or around estimate, like when you first launched in the first month?
For everything, probably, right? I know the TACoS, the total ACoS, basically, with everything included, was around 11%.
That's 11, really low.
11, 12%. On Amazon, it was around 16%. But when you include Etsy and Shopify, Shopify was small, but you include Etsy, where the margins are higher there because of the ads costs are lower, obviously less volume, it balances everything out to a total TAC cost of around 11-12%.
And that's really low. Not everybody, don't expect that for your launch, because even when I launched, it was like in the 20s or 30s. But even if it's like around 100, I mean, you're still trying to rank. So if it's at 100 in your first couple of weeks, you still have a chance to bring it down. But if it's a year in and you're at like 100 or 200%.
I remember the first few days, like 2-3 days, the ACOS was around on Amazon was around 56, 57.
Yeah.
And I was freaking out. I mean, we're still exploring the whole advertising platform, but I thought as well, let the algorithm take its time. It's gonna eventually figure it out. And then it dropped dramatically in the next few days.
Yeah, if you launch in 1 or 2 days and you have a high ACOS, don't panic. It could always come down with once everything starts getting into place, reviews, you start ranking.
Exactly. That's what happens to us at least.
Yeah, that happened with me too. Values that you like to use in Blackbox. Did you find the product using Blackbox, or how did you come across it?
Yeah, again, I applied exactly what you were saying in your course. The whole thing was new to me. I applied to the T every video, and I spent a few days on this. I wanted to find something good, and we were aiming for the holidays back in even July, August. We were aiming for the holidays. So I did spend time on all of the features. And I even asked you, these are the products, what do you think? And then I honed in on one of them and I told you, please, can you help us just confirm this is the product that we should go with? And you gave us your input on it, and it was on us. It wasn't like, because Pat told us we're going to do it. It was, at the end of the day, our decision to make it happen. Yeah,
you're the one that found it. I mean, I'm just here to analyze it. But you also found other products before this one. I remember you were going to go with something else, and then you changed your mind.
Yeah, we found few products. The challenge of those products were they were either very seasonal or very tactical. It was very much COVID related, which I knew was going to be very short-lived. Or there was no room for branding and differentiation to the point where we could visually and clearly demonstrate what was unique and different about it from one picture at least. Obviously, you can create more close-ups and use words to describe it, but people usually judge from the first picture. And it didn't resonate with us that we could really put in enough differentiation to attract the audience and compete with those that have already a lot of reviews.
That brings me to another thing. I got the photographer from Najee because his pictures look so good. So now he's actually recommended in this group. If anybody needs a photographer, I pretty much recommend him now because he's in the US. He could look at your samples. The pictures look great.
Yeah, that's one area we did not want to compromise or save on. Yeah. And the results speak for themselves. The reaction we got from people who saw the pictures just gave us a lot of confidence that we're onto something. The very first picture we took was from my iPhone. And we knew, and I bought even courses on how to take pictures and photography, even videography. But we thought, you know what? This is going to be an important asset in the success of the business. Let's not go cheap on this. So we found this photographer, of all places on Upwork. And he said, I'm new on Upwork. I like to support new people, basically. I went on his website and the guy is a professional. Yeah. I jump on a call with him. We talk. Turns out he's a professional. He loved the product, which is also very important. So we thought, you know what? Let's go with it. It's going to pay out eventually very quickly. And it did. What things did you look for in product research? You kind of covered that. Just something that you could really add value to, not sell the same exact thing. To summarize it, it's just a very simple way to demonstrate what's different and unique about it. We did not want to compete on the price. We did not want to compete on colors or small features. We wanted the main picture to visually show how different, like radically different, our product was from everyone else. Yeah, and that brings another thing. A lot of these sellers coming in now, a lot come from China, so you can't compete on the price because they could always offer it way lower than you can because they're actually making the product. They don't have the middleman where we have to get it from them. They could offer it cheaper, and that's why it's hard to compete on price, but quality. It was very tempting for us to look for products under $25. At the same time, we thought if we do that and if we're successful, it's a big if, we're going to open up the floor for everyone to come in and compete on price, especially those in China who see what's going on, who have access to helium-10 and all the tools, and they're going to be able to source it at much, much lower prices than us, and eventually it's going to die. So all the investment we poured into this product will eventually lead to a loss for us.
And then how, I forgot, was your top competitor, they had what, like 1,000 reviews when you launched?
More. So there are a few that had few thousand reviews. Again, it's where you want to put in business and marketing is where you want to position your product. They were competing on the lower price point. So they had few thousand. I didn't want to compete there because I knew I was not going to be able to compete with them. I wanted to position the product in a almost empty space. So we positioned it very expensively compared to competition, but it's not about the cost, it's the value.
Yeah.
So when we presented this product to others in person, when we were testing it, they thought this could sell easily at $130, $150. So we priced it at the $100 range, which was again twice more than the average cost of this category. And people didn't need to compare the reviews anymore at this point. Again, even if I had competitors with thousands of reviews at the price point we were at, I wouldn't have gone with the product. It was going to be very hard for us to compete in. And the other thing about higher price points, you don't need as much volume as you would need in the lower price point. So for a product that's $100, you could sell one unit, which is equivalent of 4 units of the $25 product point. So it's less volume, which means less pressure on us as well.
All right, I think that's pretty much it. That's all of the questions from the group. If anybody else has any questions, you could drop a comment down below.
Yeah, and I'm happy to answer any question as well on the Facebook group or even on Discord as well. There's a lot I went through, a lot of mistakes. The good thing is that it worked out, and I have a whole plan, a whole strategy on how to branch out of just Amazon, because it's a winning product we have right now. I'm happy to talk about all this mindset and thinking behind it as well. And if you're interested, I can always jump on a call with Pat and do, another video on this.
Yeah, and then also, I mean, his experience is different than other people. So people could still be successful launching a cheaper product, because I see it all the time. Like other students have done well with a cheaper price product. So don't panic if you don't have the amount that he had to spend on his, because he's in a high price point. Yeah,
don't take from this whole video the message that my way is going to be the only way. I'm not claiming that at all. I'm just sharing my personal experience. I wish I could make it happen with a smaller budget. Would have made my life much easier because I see others doing it. I just don't know how they do it. Pat has a lot more experience and insight on that. I just decided that actually the safer route, basically.
All right, well, I think that's it. Thanks for the interview. And anybody that has any questions, drop them down below.
Thank you, Pat.